getting ready to join us in just a minute here. So, Bryce, if you can make sure you can patch him through, it sounds like he's calling in right now. Let's get ready to bring in Greg Jennings, wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers. Greg, what's going on? What's good?
I'm great. Can't complain. Just won NFC North division title. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, life's not too bad about that. Hey, regarding that, Greg, you just got back to action a couple weeks ago after having that sports hernia surgery. And what's it like acclimating back into the lineup at this point of the season, especially since the team seems to kind of be gaining some traction here?
It's exciting to be jumping back in there. It's interesting to see how you can go from just being the guy to kind of integrating yourself back into the offense. So it's a unique situation, but it's fun. It's fun to be able to say that I'm back out there and excited to be back out there.
What you're saying, going from being the guy to kind of, integrating yourself back into the situation, has your role changed in terms of where they're placing you on the field? Are they calling in terms of how they're calling your number? Or is it just kind of the same as what it was, but you're coming in kind of late to the party. You're trying to rejoin the party.
Yeah, my role hasn't changed. It's just guys have been playing well, and it's a matter of getting your opportunities. And like you said, coming in a little late to the party. So at some point here, I'll make my presence felt.
Greg, Mark Kriegel, you had a sports hernia surgery not long ago. Physically, how are you?
I feel great physically. No pain at all physically. I'm able to do what I was able to do before or prior to the injury. So, like I said, I feel great. There's been no setback other than the 8 weeks that I missed.
Mm-hmm. You're going to be a free agent. Do you fear that teams could possibly hold that against you, or the Packers could hold it against you in contract negotiation?
As far as the core muscle injury?
Yeah.
No, I don't worry about that. There's been several guys that have come off much worse injuries, ACLs and different things like that. That's far more difficult to come off and to perform after an injury like that. So the sports hernia used to be a big issue, and it's not even really classified as a sports hernia. They call it core muscle injury now. So it's one of those deals where it's a 3-week deal. You get it, you get the surgery, and you're back on your feet and rolling the day afterwards. And now it's just a matter of your core getting back strong and you going back out there and just running.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what happens when guys, get those ripped abs, Mark, when they've got like an 8-pack, they go out there and they tear their core muscles. Greg's kind of ripped up. So,
Greg, if you had to take a very educated guess, do you think you'll be back next season?
An educated guess?
Yeah.
My educated guess, I'm going to lean to the no side of it. That's my educated guess, my personal educated guess.
That has to disappoint you somewhat. I know you said you would prefer to be back.
Absolutely. I definitely, if I had a choice, if it was just my decision only, absolutely, I would be here in a heartbeat. Wouldn't want to leave at all. But obviously, it's two sides, so the Packers are going to do what's best for them, and hopefully, I'm what's best. But if not, then I have 31 other teams that hopefully I can show them my resume and then walk into the door and start back over.
Tell me this, Greg. Do you think it's a financial thing? I mean, you've seen good players like Cullen Jenkins and these guys get away, or do you think it's because younger players like a Randall Cobb, guys like James Jones and Jordy Nelson have stepped up?
Well, I definitely think it's a culmination of both. When it comes to myself, it is definitely going to be a money issue, and then at the same time, you have a group of guys that are performing very well. But I mean, the Packers have kind of put themselves in position to where they can afford to kind of ruffle and shuffle things so to speak, and roll the dice. But, I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens.
And I know one thing you told us on NFL AM is the franchise tag. We see Wes Welker and some of these guys having to play under that franchise tender. Doesn't sound like it's an attractive option for you, but it might be an option that they try to force you to take.
Yeah, it's never an attractive option for a player who's trying to get a long-term deal, especially with this being potentially my last deal. No one wants to play under a one-year contract where anything can happen, and now you're in an even worse situation. No one wants to think that. No one wants to even talk about it, but that's the way we play the game. That's what is out there. That's the realistic things that can take place. So it favors the franchise tag, definitely favors the organization. It doesn't favor the player at all.
Do you think that the Packers are partial to an idea because they've had success with other receivers that players who play your position are interchangeable because they've had so much success and such success at quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. I really feel like that they've done a great job drafting guys. Obviously, Randall's like, I'm close to all the receivers on the football team, but Randall's kind of like a little brother to me, and he's performed at such a high level, and I hope he continues to perform at a high level. It makes us better, quite honestly. He'll tell you, and everyone else will tell you, I'm one of the most unselfish players out there when it comes to a receiver. But at the same time, I'm not naive to the fact that I need to make my share of plays, too, to make sure that I'm holding up my end. But in this year, with the injury and everything, it's giving guys an opportunity to step up and make plays to show that they can be reliable.
How do you reconcile that, your friendship and your self-interest? You've been very candid about it, but how do you go to work every day? This is my friend. This is a guy who's like my kid brother, and our financial interests are divergent.
Well, at the end of the day, it's a business, and it's not Randall's fault. It's
no,
not
I understand.
Jordy's fault. It's not. It's not. We challenge one another. We compete. We set the bar high for one another, and I feel like, when I first started, Drive was the guy, and he set the bar high, and we all had to either match it or exceed it. And if you weren't matching it, then that's when guys kind of get let go. But, that's been the case. Guys have set the bar high, and we've all pretty much matched it and are continuing to raise that bar and that level of play. So, again, we've put ourselves in this situation.
We went back and forth this morning somewhat, trying to compare this team to the 2010 team. I'm wondering what stands out most as far as differences or similarities between the two, in your mind.
I think the number one thing is, obviously the thing that's going to stand out to most people is the injury aspect of it. Guys have been injured, and the one thing about this year's team when it comes to that is guys didn't get put on a ton of guys didn't get put on IR that were in starting roles. We got guys that are going to be able to come back and play. But as far as on the field playing, the confidence, the team dynamic is starting to feel a lot like what it was when we were having that run in the 2010 year.
Kind of to that point, Greg, you guys play Tennessee and then the Vikings, and you've already clinched the division. It could be a time for you guys to start pulling back, but because you're just coming back and Clay is just coming back and Charles Woodson could be coming back soon, do you think you guys are not going to let off the gas just so they can get everybody in sync for that push?
Yeah, I don't think we can really let off the gas. Even Jordy. Jordy has been in and out this year. So with all these guys coming back, myself personally, I wouldn't want to go out because I've missed the entire season as is already. So I don't want to be one of those guys that they're like, okay, let's rest. No, let me play. And I think most guys feel like that, especially after the way last year ended.
Right.
We just want to play. I don't want there to be any excuse or any, well, you should have rested the guys or you shouldn't. It really doesn't matter what takes place. Guys just want to play football, and I think what gives us the best chance is guys just playing at a high level and consistently playing at a high level. And so if we don't kind of take a, I don't want to say a step back with resting guys, but, it always helps to just keep that momentum going.
Can you continue to get by without much of a running game?
Well, I tell you what, we won the Super Bowl in 2010 with not a whole lot of a running game. It kind of emerged late. And quite honestly, our running game, with the exception of this past game, I don't know what our rushing stats were, but we've been coming on in the running game. We've been having some great success. But as long as we're able to keep teams guessing, obviously we're going to be a pass-first team. That's what we do. But as long as we can run the ball when needed, we'll be all right.
Speaking of the running game, just some quick thoughts on you. Adrian Peterson is closing in on Eric Dickerson's rushing record of 21:05. You guys play them in the finale. Do you want him? Do you want Adrian Peterson's record books to go up against the Pack?
Personally, I'm a fan of the game, and I would love to see Adrian get that record, especially coming off of the injury that he came off of with the ACL. I mean, who doesn't want to say that? You know what? I saw him when he set that record.
What about Jerry Rice's record and Calvin Johnson? I mean, did you ever think that could be broken?
Man, when it comes to yards,
yeah, he's coming up on the single season record for Jerry Rice. I think he's just a couple hundred yards away for the single season record.
It's not nearly as talked about, but it's pretty extraordinary.
That is very impressive. I didn't even know that, but that is very impressive. And when you talk about a record that Jerry Rice holds, I mean, it's almost like every statistical stat that's out there, Jerry holds. So if a guy can supersede that and kind of take the torch off one of those, man, that's impressive.
Let me go back and consider Detroit in retrospect. Before the season, you talked about their composure. I thought you were right then. I think you're more right now. Looking back on their season, a lot was expected of them. They were expected, in many respects, to challenge you. What do you think happened to Detroit?
Man, I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it. I'm not in their meetings. I'm not over there every day, obviously. But from the outside looking in, it's just they kind of fell apart. It's tough when a team loses the close games, and that's what separates the good from the great. The good teams, they can win occasionally those games, but the great teams are gonna find a way to win those games. And last year, you saw Detroit coming out on top and winning those games, playing inspired football. This year, they just haven't had the ball bounce their way. They haven't been able to catch that break and win those close games in the stretch.
But I think it's also what separates the good teams from the merely talented teams, and we all would agree that they're pretty talented.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When you see Detroit on the schedule, I don't care what their record is, they're a scary team to play because they can put points on the board, and you know what they have in regards of explosive players and playmakers. So they can be a very exciting team to watch, and then but as far as putting it all together, they just have to work on some things, I think, inside their locker room, and probably, I don't know, those captains will get it squared away. Everybody knows what you need to work on as a team, and I think they know what they need to work on, and the kind of guys they need within that locker room. They have the talent to get it done. Why they're not doing it, I don't know. But again, who knows?
Greg, we've seen you in some great commercials for Old Spice. Where you're pulling some Post-it notes off your body, doing push-ups. With the jet ski and.
Ain't it push-up with a jet ski? It's a push-up with a jet ski and a girl.
And a girl on top. Right. Yes, they take a while. They take a while to get to you. We know you're right in the middle of a new ad campaign for Old Spice. Can you tell us what's going on with your bad smell?
Yeah, man, I'm working with Old Spice on its NFL advertising campaign, and it's basically promoting the brand's new champion scent to show NFL fans that basically anything is possible when you believe in your smell. And the idea is to use this Old Spice champion scent, whether it's the deodorant, body spray, or body wash. Once you use that, you have a sense of self-confidence where you can accomplish anything and take on anyone. So if you can check it out on Old Spice's Facebook and YouTube pages. The commercials are hilarious, in my opinion, my humble opinion. I think they've done an outstanding job in the past and currently with what they've done with the athletes and their ad campaign.
So hold up, Greg. Wait a sec. If I do the Old Spice program, I'll be doing push-ups with a jet ski girl?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
All right.
It's like that, huh? That's a big promise.
We're good then.
Absolutely.
You can't guarantee she's good looking or not,
though. You
right?
find the right size jet ski.
I don't care that much about the jet ski. Hook me up with the girl, man.
I get where you're going. The scent was raw.
There you go. The scent was raw. There you go. Hey, Greg, one quick thing before we let you go. And again, we appreciate your time. We know the crazy ending, the simultaneous possession ending that happened in Seattle, which helped spur the return of the regular game officials. Now it's the end of the season, and it's a situation where this week, where if Seattle knocks off the San Francisco 49ers, they could actually be in a position to get you guys a bye. If they end up winning that division, the win-loss situation could get you guys a bye in the first round of the playoffs. How kind of coincidental, ironic, whatever you want to say it is, would that be if they ended up helping you guys when they actually added an L to your record because of that controversial ending?
Well, it only helps us if we take care of business,
right?
And if they take care of business, so we can't worry about that. But it would be coincidental. It would be very ironic. But hey,
justice.
We'll see. We have to take care of the Titans, and then we have to look on to a tough task in Minnesota.
Well, that's what's up. Well, Greg, thank you so much for joining us. And with your bad smell, again, Greg is joining us also on behalf of the Packers and the Old Spice campaign. And what is that new scent one more time?
That is the Old Spice champion scent. Believe in your smell.
Believe in your smell. There it is.
Thanks, Greg.
Again, thanks for taking the time for joining us
Take
here
care,
on
buddy.
the Double Coverage Podcast.
All right, guys.
Take care now. Well, Mark, Greg Jennings.